Good morning, YouTube. We are back in Dallas now after a weekend in San Antonio, and we are mixing up the routine a little bit. So for the longest time, we've been going 5 days a week. We're gonna switch it up a little bit and go 6 days a week. So switching up the routine for maximized recovery, we're gonna go pull, legs, push, pull, legs, push. And yeah, so no more full body Friday. We'll do just kind of a full leg day on that day, and pretty good balance between quads and hamstrings. Quads being real heavy on Tuesday now, and then hamstrings being real heavy on, what is that, Friday? So yeah, that's just kind of the changes we're making. Getting a little bit more training frequency, a little bit more volume in the back, and yeah, should be a good one. Keep the back, keep the legs growing, heavy stimulus there, chest and shoulders, all that stuff's gonna stay about the same. So starting off with these wide grip pull downs, what we're doing is really just kind of like setting our scap into place with a little bit of kind of a backward lean. I wouldn't say it's so much like thoracic extension as much as we're just kind of leaning back a little bit and just allowing that shoulder to stretch a little bit more to get the lat into more length. So not really trying to like turn it into like a high row, just trying to just set the shoulders in the right position so they can pull and drive the elbows down with good stimulus, good symmetry. We got a lot to do today, so I'm not trying to go to failure too early. So switching up the rows a little bit here, just going a more overhand grip presentation. Really just trying to kind of bias a little bit more upper back and take the lats out of it just a little bit. I mean, the lats are going to be engaged, but definitely having to take the shoulders, traps, and teres muscles kind of through a little bit more range of motion. A single arm row variation here, just staggering the stance, making sure we can really load and lengthen without too much rotation. Yeah, kind of glad we made this change, because after all that travel, coming in and doing legs today would have been pretty rough. But I think just that extra day, that extra little bit of focused back work on Thursday, instead of taking that day off and doing back and legs on Friday, is going to feel a lot better overall. And not dip too much into fatigue or recovery, because we're doing all the same work, we're just splitting it up a little bit more. So with this stagger stance, what I like to do is think about opposite leg. We're gonna lock that out and really push into the quad there. The other leg will keep it kind of soft, and that way it'll prevent us from rotating too much. Yeah, so when we're hitting single arm movements, not only is it being able to get that mind to muscle connection independently of the bilateral, being able to feel the left lat a little bit more when you're just working that, not letting, the bilateral movements take over and allow for compensation. But also usually you're gonna be able to get more length and more range of motion from doing that one arm at a time. So a lot of just benefits to making sure you're doing both. Yeah, so definitely a more lengthened bias. Anytime you're gonna go into some single arm or unilateral work, you should be able to get more range of motion. So being able to take that lat through a greater stretch in this position, if you're doing a split squat, should be able to get a little bit more knee flexion, so it's all just kind of fine tuning and figuring out, what's what. But ultimately you just have to figure out what works best for you. That can come from specific exercise selection, exercise order, volume, intensity range. Some people can just go, 90%, 9 RPE all day and just never feel like they can't recover. Some people, go 75% and need days. So sometimes it's just experience. Sometimes it's just time under tension, time under the bar. Straight arm pull downs, usually gonna be something we warm up with, and then also pretty often something we just finish off the lats with, because it's not gonna use a whole lot of grip, forearm, bicep, other things like that. Just gonna allow you to isolate that lat some. So while you probably don't have much in the tank for all the other compound stuff we did, you can come in and just tire out the lats without anything else getting in the way. We'll get one set here, then we'll get some rear delts, some biceps, and then get out of here. Starting off here, got this one from Chase Irons. He uses dumbbells, but I like the cables better personally. But what he does essentially is a super heavy, overloaded, lengthened partial to start, and then decreases weight, increases range of motion. So we're hitting two kind of just partial sets, and then we'll hit two like really long sets where we'll go slightly lower weight, more range of motion, and then really low weight, but maximal range of motion. Yeah, so essentially we're just cutting the weight in half every single drop. So we did 40s just as much as we could, 20s with as much range of motion as we could, and then 10s just as much range of motion as we could until we just fail. So we'll rest a little bit, do one more set like that, and then move on to biceps. Ooh. Yeah, those got pretty sloppy, not gonna lie. I think maybe 2 or 3 full range of motion reps, but I've never felt my rear delts fire this hard, so can't really complain about it. I'm gonna definitely start using that a little bit more because, again, the muscle doesn't care that you're, you know, taking it through certain range of motion or certain load or anything like that. It's really just the stress implied on the muscle. So never felt that kind of stress. Lightweight. Yeah, I mean, it's a big difference what food makes. I had those 2 high calorie days on Friday and Saturday. My workouts were just so good. I was at Muscle Factory in San Antonio, it was great, but the actual pump and sensation was notably a lot better. It's funny is I eat more food and my digestion gets better. Because when I'm cutting, like if I'm on a low calorie day, I eat more vegetables and that's what messes my stomach up. You made me spill my macchiato. Yeah, so finishing off here with just some kind of standing incline curls. So again, more lengthened bias. We started off with the kind of more declined or just standard cable curl. That's obviously gonna be a lot more shortened bias. So just mixing it up, diversifying the activation and the load. And we'll hit 2 more sets here and then finally be done. Okay, let's check it out. Okay. All right. So again, that is a wrap for today. Got a big change up in the programming. We are coming off of 2 high days. We are digging again today, so low calories, kind of around the 1800 mark. As of right now, we'll see. We might make some changes. But other than that, yeah, sitting kind of bouncing between like 203, 205 right now. And I'm only about 5'11", so we've got some room to grow, but just trying to get all the stubborn body fat off. And we got about 9 weeks to do it, so nothing too crazy, nothing too drastic. I feel like we're still a bit ahead of schedule in some regards. Not trying to speed things up too much, but yeah, just been working on the programming schedule, kind of changing things up a little bit. So instead of going legs, pull, push, rest, full body, then push, then rest, we're gonna go pull, legs, pull, legs, push, rest. So rest days on Sundays, every other day. We are training from now on and just trying to keep the volume in the upper back and legs a little bit more prioritized by splitting up that Friday. So yeah, that's the major change for right now. Had a great weekend in San Antonio, great weekend of training at Muscle Factory. Definitely my go-to gym whenever we're out there. Just great overall, just space, equipment, energy. Not too crazy, not too busy, just good overall vibe, and obviously a lot of great equipment, a lot of prime pieces, Icarian pieces, just good overall. So no complaints. If I lived in San Antonio, I would be house hunting near that gym. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, that is it for today. We'll do a little bit of posing, try to open up the lats after all that back work, and just work on holding those positions a little bit. So we'll see you tomorrow for legs. Bo Alexander, Adapt Fitness, Dallas, Texas. And we got 9 weeks, baby. Bye. Just work on pulling those abs in a little bit more. And then boom.